folks, Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest Blitz, where we are playing Asphodel. It's turn 55. This thing just keeps on going. So, we got a couple of interesting things that have happened this turn. A couple of battles. Let's watch and see. We attack in Kingdom of Dara. We got a pretty big stack of our Carrion horses here. A couple of wolves and boars as well. And it looks like there's just a lot of PD here, as well as a fish boy. We should take decently sized losses, but we'll win this. Kingdom of Dara, 181 went in, 25 did not come back out. Oh, there were, this wasn't just PD. Okay, cool. So we squished a little stack of bowmen, killed an Ichthyiid. That's nice. Cool. Sweet. We're happy about that. We also attacked in Helmshire. We got about 100 odd mannequins here. And there's a shit ton of knights. And this is a pretty good example of kind of the issue. These are just indies, but this is a pretty good example of the issue of fighting man, right? These aren't even Knights of Avalon. These aren't creatures that are blessed or anything like that. They're just knights with a lance charge, protection 18, protection 20, right? We sent in nearly 100, and let's be honest, right? Like it wasn't the 13 militias that did the work. It was the sub 25 knights, so almost a 4-to-1 ratio, and we just get killed, right? So it's just so many attacks come out. The lance is gonna pop whatever they hit. Broadsword is gonna kill most things on a hit. Hoof is going to sometimes kill on a hit, and we just can't kill. And you go with that concept of like overwhelming them, like enveloping them and harassing them down, but really in the way that Dominions works with these types of massed units, a lot of times the AI doesn't do that very well, right? Like groups will just stay behind. They're not necessarily slow to fill gaps, but like they're slow to circle around and envelop if they ever actually do. And even in this situation where you can get an envelopment, right? You run into a scenario of the knights are already killing things, especially if they hit like on a corner or something like that, which they did there. They hit one of the side units and then hit a corner. They're basically just destroying that corner before they can get enveloped. And then as new units arrive, they're just being mulched. They're just being fed into the, the meat grinder or that type of scenario. So it's really difficult to challenge quality tier units with just these big piles of chaff. They have to be really, really big piles of chaff, right? For example, in Nemor, we have another, I think this is another roughly 100. This might be closer to like 200. This is a lot of mannequins here. And that's a lot of Knights of Avalon. We're fucked. Not only is that a lot of Knights of Avalon, that's also a lot of monks. There's no way. Look at that. Obliterated. So, this is... that was 250 units. We did not kill... that was 57 Knights of Avalon, 14 monks. We did not kill a single unit in that scenario. We would need probably triple this amount. We probably need close to 750 in order to actually last long enough to deal some damage, envelop, harass, fatigue, blah, 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 and actually kill some of these things, right? This is the key issue. I say the key issue. This is the key issue of where we are at in the game. we can't really do anything without casters / without you know, some quality units, Black Minotaurs, Black Centaurs, that type of thing. And we're like that completely because we played the game wrong, right? Like, had we prioritized Carrion Centaurs, Carrion, what are they, Apostates, whatever, the Carrion Lords, or the mid-tier, right? Had we prioritized any of those in the past 20 turns and really, like, ramped them out, we may be producing enough mannequins to throw 750 mannequins at a province and be like, haha! But not currently. So that's unfortunate. That's a painful loss to lose 250 for nothing. It's not a painful loss to lose 250. We are still generating enough mannequins to where losing 250 on a given turn is not like the end of the world. If we lost 250 every turn, we'd be fucked really fast, right? But losing 250 like this is not the end of the world for us, but it is still especially painful to lose it for nothing, right? If we'd killed 10 Knights of Avalon, sniped a couple of monks, that might be a different thing, but we also get to watch a battle in Phaeacia, and this is actually really cool. We've been waiting for a big scenario here for a while, and it's not super big on the man side. He's got a little bit of stuff here, but this is an effective force from Van, right? This is sketty. So there's a lot of Draconians here. Very good use of Draconians by Van Zan Cranban. I hate it. It's too many ands. Very effective use of Draconians. I actually think like Draconians are maybe a little too strong in Dominion 6. They are extremely cost effective for what they do and what they give, and how you get them and how early you can get them. They're really, really fucking good. They're only Air 3, which is not the most challenging thing to acquire. It's not the easiest thing to acquire because there aren't really good low tier, or I say good, any low tier air boosters. And there's not a lot of nations, especially mid-age and on, that are just packing Air 3s out of the gate. So you often do have to like try to empower an Air 2 or something like that if you wanna try to abuse them. But it's really not that challenging, especially if you have Air 2s and you can site search for air. These guys are just really strong. And the fact that like when you summon them, you're gonna get a shit ton of them, but you're also gonna get a leader that can summon another one every single turn. They're just really cost effective. They're a great investment, especially early in the game. The earlier you can get them, honestly. So we've got a bunch of Draconians. We've got some Storm Demons mixed in. There's a bunch of the generalized Van units in here, but also some special units. We can see a Golem, which is pretty cool. Not super kitted out or anything like that. Not like a late game Golem that's gonna do some crazy shit, but has a skull cap, has some clams, got the stuff. We've got the Alkanost, which I think is a really cool Van unit. It's a summonable H3, which is really cool. Got some Adepts of Pyriflegaton in here, which are pretty neat. And then kind of like the holy shit balls, a bunch of Zemays, right? These are special unit summoned from, I think, all of the Rusian tier get them. So Rus, Van, and Vanarus, and Bogarus, I think, all get them. So these things are really cool, right? Like, it's not always the easiest to get them, but they are, I believe they are dragons, so I think you can use Dragon Master with them, which is kind of cool. They've got a lot of HP. They take buffs fairly well. They have a bunch of bites. They have a Drake Fire. So they're just mini fucking dragons, which is super neat. And they're gonna do a lot of fucking shit. On man's side, he's got a couple of knight commanders and then a small squad of mages. And they're going to do the whole point buff scenario and try to, like, make themselves as annoying as possible. But it's just... when you've got... Ooh, we also have Wailing Winds coming up. Howl from a Mother of Avalon. Which could be annoying. Probably not going to be annoying enough. All these Zamays come in and they're just going to flambe things, right? Like... Oh, hey, there's a fair amount of fire resistance across the board with these casters, though. So that's cool. Not gonna be enough. Not with the fire breath and also all of those attacks. Like, 3 18 damage attacks is not nothing. Higher, actually, because did they get Strength of Giants on them? Oh, they got Enlarge on them. Ugh. 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 Rigor Mortis. Ah! Man's God is here. That's kind of interesting. So he threw up Rigor Mortis. Feels like the Zamays got a little sidetracked by the wolves, which is actually pretty good. So, victory from Vanarus. What did he lose for it? He lost an Adept of Pyrphlegeton, a Lizard Shaman, a bunch of, not quite chaff. I don't want to call all these things chaff. A lot of these are pretty quality units, right? Like the Draconians, the Skin Shifters, the Herdmen. They're good units, right? Oathbound or Sacreds, right? Serpent Fiends, Storm Demons, Berserkers. Did lose 18 Zamays, which is a little bit of a pain. But overall, that's pretty decent, right? At the same point, man didn't really lose much here. He lost 7 Knights of Avalon. He lost 18 Jade Maidens. He lost a Mother of Avalon, which is big. Wait, no, the Mother's not big. Which one's the big one? Oh, I guess it's not. What's the really big? I thought Mothers of Avalon were the really big man casters. No, it's the Crone. Crone of Avalon is the really big one. Gotcha. Sorry. So basically what I'm saying is he really didn't lose a lot. His god died, but whatever. He's got 5 billion monks. He's just gonna spend a turn and the god will be automatically back, right? Like, that is zero issue. Man is a great nation for being like, YOLO with your god, because you have every reason and incentive to have a shit ton of monks. They're very useful and extremely cheap for what you're getting out of them. So man didn't really lose a lot here, and he actually did a little bit of damage. So I think this is actually a pretty damn good defense on the side of man. Really what he loses is he loses Phaeacia, right? He loses Phaeacia, and he kind of loses the impetus of defending that territory, which is good for us, kinda. It's not really good for us so much as it's just bad for him. In Wick, people are very displeased, and they leave. I would be displeased if I lived in Asphodel as well. And our Harpy was discovered and attacked in Bungar. So, we had a little bit of a mixed bag here this turn. We squished some in Kingdom of Dara, and we got squished in Namor, and then we fucking just lost a bunch of mannequins in Helmshire. We're going to try to correct that. We are sending another little over 100 stack. Most of these... So, he lost pretty much... If we go check... I say he. The Indies. The Indies are he. So, he has 2 Knight Commanders, right? These militia are going to route off, I believe. Yes. Okay, so they route off. One of his Knight Commanders dies. So, we lost this battle with roughly the same amount that we're sending this same turn. However, there's less distraction, and there's only 1 commander. So I feel better about sending another stack of 100. We do have some mixed attack rear shenanigans going on, but mostly this is just going to be a... Probably we'll do better, maybe we'll snipe the commander. Also is just 100 loose mannequins that we're just kind of throwing that direction. We're going to go park a Harpy. I say park a Harpy. We're actually going to go attack Sylvania with a Harpy immediately on retreat, just to kind of ping and see what's there. See if he's actually patrolling with anything. The thought did occur to me of, hey, man's god died in Phaeacia this turn, but really, like I said, he should be back next turn immediately, right? So... Just moving on to Sylvania, which we could do, doesn't mean that we're actually going to be able to fight without his god present. And at the end of the day, his god is a really good rainbow, and it's extremely threatening, especially at this point in the game. It's only going to get more threatening, right? But it's not like his god being gone is going to be like a free pass for us. Right in the future... His god is going to probably be an extreme issue for us. Right now, his god is an annoyance for us, and all of the rest of his shit is an extreme issue. So we're just gonna ping Sylvania, kind of mess around. We are attacking into Goodwater with the Kingdom of Dara stack. Gonna jump in the water, see what we can get. And we are jumping back into Namor with another 200 stack, which might just die if he just hangs out, but he doesn't normally just hang out in a province, so probably we'll be okay. We're also moving a relatively big stack into Scythia, or into Scytha. I'm trying to do that whole scenario of, hey, I've got some big stacks roaming around. If you send out smaller things, it will get squished. The other reason we're not just trying to run at Sylvania this turn is because the Agarthan army is back. They just disappeared for a couple turns, but they're back. So I'm trying to keep an eye on them. And again, we have that kind of concept of we're done. It's turn 55. We've lost all our gains. We have not transitioned appropriately. We've kind of staled out of any effective ability to persevere, right? Through bad choices and lax choices, primarily, right? But we still have some ability to kind of like bloody noses. So again, our dream goal would be to have Agartha come at us with a big stack that's not very supported by mages, for us to squish it again, and then for man to come at us with a big stack that is absolutely going to be supported by 15,000 things, and for us to die against it, but do considerable damage, right? And then we die. That's the dream goal that is still somewhat attainable, but we'll see. We really don't have much of anything else going on, primarily because we are trying to really hit Enchantment 8 this turn. After Enchantment 8, we're gonna head to Army of Rats, but we might not be going at it as in such a focused manner, right? So we'll see how that actually turns out. We might end up just kind of like chilling, hanging out for a while, as we do some other stuff. Maybe actually start burning down some of these gems, which we probably should have been. I say probably should. We've talked about this half a dozen times or more at this point. We should have been burning through, especially our nature gems, for the last 20 plus turns. Even to the point to where alchemizing into more nature just to generate more, what are they called? More of our trio, right? So even to the point to where I think, like, after having played enough Asphodel at this point, obviously, like, controlling Mother Oak, getting enough temples up to get the free income, free, quote-unquote, income. Basically, anything you need to do to transition around turn 25 to 40, like, in that space. Basically, anything you can do to transition out of a gold economy and into a gem-based economy that allows you to continue to generate more mannequins, but also allows you to continue to research, right? That's the goal. I like legitimately think that it would be worthwhile. Obviously, if you have very specific things that you're after, you should use those gems for that. But I think you should legitimately alchemize things to just be like, I can make more Carrion centaurs, more Carrion ladies, more Carrion lords. And as many as you're making each turn, that means you're investing in the future of that gem-based economy, and the just shit ton of, not free spawn, but chaff spawn that you can. I don't like to call it free spawn when you actually have to reanimate it, right? Like, free spawn to me implies that you're just kind of, obviously I say you do get free spawn as Asphodel, but I think, again, especially as you're moving into the mid to late game, it's more that concept of you need to be generating more mannequins because you made the decision to create a shit ton of Carrion centaurs, Carrion ladies, Carrion lords, etc., etc. So, anyways, that is neither here nor there. That's the end of this episode. Hopefully, I mean, we're seeing a couple of exciting things here or there, but we're really kind of just hoping Agartha comes stomping at us so we can have a big battle and then die to man. So, fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.